two guys in the dark.
I was shelving jars of applesauce that I had helpfully transported from 4 aisles down. While getting a giant 40-ounce jar on the shelf, it slipped from my hand. I made the unwise decision to attempt to catch it. The next thing I knew, I saw shattered glass and applesauce all over the floor. Damn it, I would have to fill out an incident report over the damaged merchandise. A few moments later, I noticed that the applesauce was mixed with a rapidly increasing volume of bright red liquid. I looked down at my arm, and I was covered in blood from the middle of my forearm to the palm of my hand. The jar had shattered against my arm, and 2 shards of glass had punctured my inner forearm in 2 places. The first cut was roughly 2 inches. The second was probably about an inch. The cuts were deep enough to see the bone. I stood there for a few moments until a coworker had came by. I calmly asked for them to go get Todd, our supervisor. The coworker looked at the bloody man covering with blood and applesauce and screamed, "Oh God, someone get a tourniquet," which would have been a terrible idea if I had not hit a vein, and darted off to one of the main aisles. A few moments later, I was surrounded by coworkers, and the aforementioned Todd handed me a wad of paper towels and then inexplicably began wiping applesauce off of my shirt. He walked me to the back room, gave me some new, less blood-soaked paper towels, and I was driven to the ER by another supervisor. At the ER, glass was picked out of my arm with what appeared to be tweezers, and I was given 10 stitches. This is where the pure Walmart evilness kicks in. I was driven back to the store and told that I had to take a drug test as soon as the local drug testing facility had opened. Since the incident occurred at around 3 a.m., and the testing facility opened up at 8, I was told that I should just go ahead and finish up my shift. I was 19. It happened to be my first job, so I agreed. I was sent back out to the floor to continue stocking the applesauce an hour after getting 10 stitches, and glass picked out of my arm while wearing clothes that were absolutely soaked mixed of blood and applesauce. I looked like I had murdered someone, but why should that matter to Walmart, right? We had a very nice elderly woman working in the crafts department, and had been with the company, and that one store, for more than 25 years. A box had fallen off of a high shelf. It hit her in the head, left her dizzy and very confused. The store manager tasks me with interviewing her to fill out an incident report. This woman is nauseous, dizzy, and she is exhibiting all of the classic signs of a concussion. I asked if we should take her to the hospital. "Nope, let her fill out this form first. She's fine." Then the store manager pulls me aside, starts asking me if she said anything weird, if I thought she was covering her tracks, and if I thought that she smoked weed. Seriously? A box had fallen off of a shelf that was in the back stock room. It's on tape. There were 3 witnesses, and she's 75 years old. The store manager then has me take her to the company's drug testing lab on the way to the hospital. The whole time this lady is complaining about feeling sick, having a headache, and then we have to wait almost 2 hours at the lab. The doctor at the lab even chews me out about taking her there first. Then I take her to the hospital where it's another 2 hours to get checked out. It comes back that she has a mild concussion, and she can go home. When we get back to that parking lot, I asked her if I can drive her home or do anything to help her out. She's feeling a little bit better at this point, says that she will be fine, and just asks if I can drop her off directly at her car so that she can go straight home. I oblige. I go back into the store, log into the computer system, and then clock her out. The store manager finds out that I did that after she was discharged from the hospital with a concussion and rips my ass for it, saying that she was fine to just come back to work. Looking back, probably the only thing that I regret about my time at Walmart was that I didn't just take the lady straight to the hospital, or even call an ambulance for her when she first got hit, and she couldn't stand up rather than listening to my store manager, who happened to have been an asshole about the whole ordeal. I worked at Walmart for 2 summers, and some breaks during college. The experience pretty much killed any interest that I have working in a corporate, for-profit setting. I currently work for a small non-profit organization. The worst thing that I have concerns is the plight of an older gentleman who worked in the back. He worked in the back unloading trucks for a number of years before hurting his knee on the job. He ended up getting surgery, and the surgeon recommended that he receive physical therapy as well. The insurance that Walmart provided would only approve therapy at one facility, and the facility was overworked to the point that they could only treat him on a very specific schedule. The management absolutely refused to accommodate any of his work schedule for the sake of his therapy schedule. They ended up putting a chair by the garden center door. Dude was still using crutches at this point, and making him work 8-hour shifts as a greeter. So not only did they refuse to cooperate with his store-sponsored health insurance, they found some menial way to keep him working instead of rehabilitating his knee. I wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to fire him since then, and he assuredly does not have the means to hire a lawyer and challenge their labor practices. For any high school and college students who can tolerate stupidity and rely on low wages, Walmart isn't the worst place to work, but they are among the lucky few who get to view it as a stopgap instead of a foundation. I had worked at Walmart for about 2 years right out of high school. My first department was pets, where I received absolutely no training whatsoever. The only animals in the department were fish, but I had to learn about them, and that I can't sell fish with it, or put more fish in that have itch, from a book that we sold from Fish Care and from customers. My manager and the guy working with me never bothered to tell me, and I was often left alone. So many fish came through and died in that store. And whenever I do pass the fish at the Walmart I live at now, I just feel awful for them. I knew nothing about fish care, and I made that clear when they gave me the job. I didn't know you couldn't just toss a new fish into the bowl. It would get shock and die. You have to put the bag the fish comes in into the water to slowly change the temperature, but never dump that water into the new water when they're done. While I worked at Walmart, I had talked to one of my employees about a family reunion that I had attended, and it had full spirit up to me and demanded to know why I had said the word union when I told her. I said reunion, not union. She didn't believe me and decided to tear me down right there on the sales floor. Lucky for me, a few other employees that I was talking to stood up for me and told her that she heard me wrong. I've worked a lot of retail, and anywhere you work you will find favoritism, but I never saw it worse than at Walmart. One of the store managers was a not-so-secret relationship with a guy who worked in electronics with us. Thing is, if you didn't know that he worked in electronics, nobody would blame you. He'd get to work, and they would just go to the smoke room for the entire day. They would often take a company vehicle to the store's off-site storage facility and not come back all day. They even did this after we had a big store meeting about losing the storage facility, which resulted in our back room taking in all of the stock. The manager had his own problems, for sure, as he was absolutely lying to his wife and children about his barely legal gay lover. But we had to pay the price. Always one person short in the department. During my 2 years that I saw people break down, freak out, steal, lie, cheat, and so many sad workers who had no other options but to keep on going. People who had worked there and helped build the store when it was being forced down to part-time and losing all of their benefits. The angriest customers. And there's also the more baffling of idiots. I watched a woman vomit in front of the video game cases, look at all of us, shrug, walk it off, then come back 20 minutes later to see if we cleaned it up, and then laughed. There was this older lady that had came in every day, and she would kind of attach herself to an employee. Usually it was the same one, and then she would follow them around just talking to them about their day, her day, all kinds of things. As soon as I started at Walmart, she attached herself to me. I actually got to know her very well. She didn't drive. She walked about 20 miles to get to Walmart every single day, just because she had nothing else to do, and she was lonely. Those were her words exactly. She had 7 cats, 3 pugs. She lived in a house with no floors, no electricity. A coworker who lived near her verified all of this. I'm pretty sure she didn't have running water either. just because of obvious hygiene issues that she had. She also very obviously had some kind of mental problems. That was even sadder, is that a lot of coworkers would make fun of her to her face, but she didn't understand what they were doing. I thought that it was really messed up. I felt bad for her. So whenever I had time, I would stop and just talk to her. It got to the point where she would call the store looking for me on the days that she didn't come in. I probably would have contacted some kind of community service, but honestly, she seemed so happy. And I know she ate because I saw her grocery shopping all the time. I moved about a year ago. I haven't heard anything about her since. I didn't know adult protective services existed at the time, but I wished that I had. Funny enough, because I'm in school to be a social worker, and she's actually part of the reason why I'm in that right now. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell for notifications on future videos, and become a stalker of the night. And I'll see you next time.